Hi there, hope you're doing okay. So I wanted to share something with you which came out of a radio program I was listening to late the other night, and it was talking to a professor about what he was coining Zoom fatigue, and I guess we all know where we're going with that. And it was all about this idea that throughout lockdown we've all been using things like Teams and Zoom and relying on video calls to stay in touch professionally, but even personally as well, via the likes of FaceTime, WhatsApp or Google Hangouts, because not only have we needed to use it in our workspace, but perhaps we felt it's far better than phone calls to allow us to stay in touch with friends and family. And there was a lot of questions to the professor about why is it causing us to feel more stressed out, to feel like our working day is longer, it's harder, it's more exhausting than perhaps it might have been if we were already used to having many hours in meetings in normal circumstances around a table with our colleagues. And he made some really interesting points which I thought threw it right back to where we are when we're living in a world with an eating disorder. One of the main features of that was he was saying, in a normal environment, you walk into a meeting room, you sit down at a table and you engage with the other parties around that table. You are focused on the conversation, you are focused on the mannerisms and the conversations of the people that you are there in the room to talk with and on the topic you're there to talk about. But all of a sudden, when you bring the video dynamic into things, all of a sudden your brain's getting busy. Your brain's got one more thing to think about. However much you may not have had body image issues in the past, you are drawn, psychologically, you are drawn to see this image of yourself back at you on the screen in this mirrored version. And something makes you hyper aware of it. It makes you heightened in your alertness to it, and you can't avoid it. He made some really good recommendations about kind of either occasionally saying you would prefer not to use video on your call, which actually I have come to do quite a lot. I find it quite draining to have unnecessary video calls with some clients when, while I know it's a novelty, I think sometimes a simple phone call or a video less Zoom call is fine. Or even just, saying to your own team, actually, do you know what, I find this really exhausting. Is it okay if we don't put video on today? He was recommending that might be approached because he was saying it does take up an awful lot more brain energy when we see ourselves back there. He also talked about the various apps have an opportunity for you to minimize the mirroring effect, so you very much reduce yourself or don't get yourself highlighted on the screen. And I think for any of us out there who have had past issues with an eating disorder or are feeling a little bit triggered or are going through recovery, if you know that the very process of video calls isn't helpful to you and it's a construct that is somehow not serving you, I say be brave enough to speak about it or act up and say, this isn't something that's really working for me particularly well, because I don't mind betting there are plenty of your colleagues out there who are finding this Zoom and Teams call thing incredibly exhausting too. And for me, it makes so much sense what this psychologist has said. I can see now why it is just one more level of brain engagement that the video call brings into play. And that's not helpful in recovery because we want all the focus to be on recovery. All right, I hope that helps. Let me know how you're getting on with that. Take care.